They're probably in danger of being really blown away with the Lions. It's only a couple of minutes to half-time.
We were behind, yeah, so we were certainly struggling to keep up.
The Bombers at the moment have the answers. Great recovery by Ramanaskas. Wide and out, an opportunity for McCurry. The Bombers go to half-forward. Lucas!
The second quarter where we turned things around, our game plan started to look pretty sharp.
Maybe 12 months beforehand we might have been worried, and I reckon there's grounds to be worried because of how good Essendon were in that second term.
20 points the margin at the moment. Lynch.
We've got a great game here. It's been a terrific first half. Still very much a match to be won. At half-time, it's the Bombers by 14 points.
I came in at half-time supremely confident.
Brad Scott was with me, and I just remember this strange sort of connection with him. And I looked across at him, and he looked across at me.
We looked at each other, and the common thread of what we were saying is
that we got him.
Like a lot of other blokes, I was tired and I was sore. Not a great mindset to go into the last half going in with.
I almost felt like I hadn't played, a half a footy at all. And I thought the rest of the team looked the same way.
I remember Lee Matthews saying that we have to risk the depression of defeat that we might experience the exhilaration of victory.
Lee was an amazing leader. Once he came to the club, absolutely united the club, united the player group.
Everyone respected him. I mean, if he said jump, you'd say how high.
The team was successful, he praised the players. When the team didn't play well, he blamed himself.
Everything he said, you just had to listen to it, you hung off every word, you just knew that he was going to take you to the promised land.
I never got the concept of coaching against coaches. I mean, my players played against their players.
He's really got a better record than me against each other, but probably in the end, he's always been a more talented person.
Sheeds was a motivator. He made his players feel bulletproof. The positivity he gave us, the way he allowed us to develop into our own people and our own players was quite amazing.
I care about my players and always will, but I don't wipe their backside. They're there to grow up as men.
He was the life of the party.
How many more, mate?
Just a couple.
He came on a few footy trips with us overseas, and for a bloke that was 60, tried to keep up with the good drinkers on tour. He tried, and it was funny watching him try.
We're all set for what should be a fantastic second half of footy.
We knew we had a fair battle on our hands in that second half. The Brisbane guys were up and roaring.
Hardwick, look out, you're in trouble. He twists out of trouble.
Every great side, has a little chink in their armour.
Moorcroft thought about Barnard. Then he's got Caracella running. Caracella thinks about Barnard. Barnard from 51 metres. Drifted across the face and it won't come back.
We kicked 3 or 4 goals and the game's over and done with, but instead we kicked 5 or 6 points.
I did feel that there wasn't probably enough of a spark within us.
That was the moment when you sort of thought, right, game on.
Since Kevin Sheedy and Lee Matthews were coaching in the Grand Final in 1990, no team has been outscored in the third quarter and won the flag.
The fresh legs of Notting. The Lions are away. Notting puts them inside 50. The kick's got to be good. The bounce is a good one. Eventually for Brown. Down he goes. Up he comes. Gives it to Power. And the Lions are still there. They're filling the heat in the Essendon kitchen now.
All of a sudden, we started to control every part of the ground, and what seemed like a bit of an arm wrestle in the first half really started to go our way.
Stolen by Johnson. Away goes Chrissy Johnson. Spearing a worm-burning pass to half-forward, and McRae takes the mark. Suddenly, the foot's gone on the accelerator. The Lions are running. He goes in towards Brown.
The longer the game went on, the longer we were going to be able to overrun them.
This to give the Lions the lead. He has done it.
Not only are we about to put the foot down, we are now starting to crack them. You could see them making mistakes.
Caracella caught. Ackermanis onto him. Talk about going in for the kill here. The Bombers just standing up,
I thought we were in trouble. It was a stage where we were on the ropes and we had to actually act.
Bombers have come out and have thrown an early punch or two, haven't they?
They haven't landed one yet, boys.
There was a lot of niggle that was going on. I felt that we were on the front foot with that.
The old bodies flying everywhere, the impacts, the collisions. It's do or die.
It's a free kick for the Lions against Solomon, I think.
He's like a kamikaze pilot. I think that was his way of saying, boys, if we don't do something here, if we don't stand up, it's going to slip away.
Left, one high.
When the opposition started doing that, well, it was probably a sign to us that it was, you know, the last roll of the dice.
It's not over yet.
It's the only mistake he's made all day, and it was after the siren.
Time and time again, I get reminded of that. And if I got $1 off everybody else, that makes me a multi-millionaire.
Let's hope he hasn't injured himself. That would be ridiculous. Two icons of the game walk out to address their players for the final time this year. And Brisbane now lead by 16.
Yeah, I wanted it, yeah. And I just was craving that opportunity.
I just saw no flinches. There's games you should win and there's games that you're going to lose.
Scenes from the South Bank Piazza in Brisbane where a couple of thousand fans are today, really hooping it up as we come back to the Melbourne Cricket Ground.
Three-quarter time, it was like, you know, don't let these pricks off the hook.
We had a really confident feeling that they'd thrown everything they could at us. You know, as soon as we went out in the second half, we'd overrun them and get the job done.
In their 15-match streak, they've won 13 last quarters, Brisbane.
It's the last quarter. We've got them on the ropes. We've got to keep grinding away, keep doing what we're doing at the moment because it's working.
I'm looking around the ground and we saw just a few blokes, you know, just really struggling and really battling.
Yeah, trying to rev the team up to say, come on, we've still got this. But I did feel like that there was a few signs of resignation.
You can say all the right things at three-quarter time and act all the right way, but deep down you know how yourself is going.
Barnes in the ruck. His last game in his 5th grand final.
Some players are coming towards the end of their career that had been so good for so long.
It's certainly not panning out to be the sort of afternoon that John Barnes was looking for.
Well, I remember it also being emotional because Longy was obviously in the rooms thereabouts too, and you know, you're disappointed for him, disappointed for the guys that missed out.
Towards the end of 2001, I think we were a little bit battle-weary.
But there's a real sense of we mightn't be able to keep this group together for too much longer.
And the salary cap issues just, you know, caught up with us, which was very, very sad.
Perhaps, yeah, this was one last crack we could have.
Lloyd to go bang from 50, 50, 50. He's done it. There's still a chance.
I had a strong desire to be the person to try and get things back on track for us, and I just was craving that opportunity.
I suppose that fear as well as that knowing that the opposition was still well respected, to just keep hammering them if we could.
Ackermanis is alert. Here's the Brownlow medalist from 50. Bangs it back. Kicks it towards goal.
Acker was electrifying. When he had to stand up, he did stand up.
We set up a lot of the way we played to help him play well. He didn't need many chances to hurt the opposition.
Ackermanis was the one we knew he could pretty much cut us apart. His burst of speed from 0 to 10 is sensational.
Ackermanis twisting, turning, weaving.
Acker was the sort of guy that loved doing his handstands at the end of games. Not something the rest of us wanted to do, and probably not something the rest of us liked.
We've probably all knocked him at times in terms of his some of the things he's done and said, but in terms of his football, he let it speak volumes.
Ackermanis, away goes the Brownlow medalist. Acker's away.
I was just hanging on for dear life. When I look back now, I was out of my depth in terms of playing on someone like that.
He looks for Voss and finds the champion Brownlow medalist and skipper on the half-back flank.
You know, Vossi was certainly the best player that I've seen play.
When the chips were down, he would be the one who'd drag us back up.
He was a fantastic leader in both the way he lived his footy life and the way he directed out on the field.
As a captain, there's a hugely powerful feeling to know that as a leader, that the guys that are walking behind you, you've got absolutely undying trust in. I just remember walking down the race, and I just remember thinking as I was walking down there, is there anybody that I wouldn't have in my team right now that's right behind me? And I had a group of men that were around me that were ready to go to war, unquestionable. And when I looked in their eyes, I just saw no flinches.
Still McDonald to Voss in the pocket. Voss close. He's done it. Has he? The captain. He's finished it off. Epimenius to Power. Power for a third. Another one. It's become a flood, hasn't it? You just doubt whether they can stop it.
It was just like you were coming up against a tsunami that just kept coming. You could see it happening, but trying to stop it was, was pointless. It was just relentless.
What we did come up against was a pretty incredible side that was hungry and won their first premiership.
The players, they hit a point where they say, we now can't win. And the tremendous weight of a lost grand final starts to sink in. It's only natural that the work rate drops off.
I think a lot of us ran out of petrol tickets, and Brisbane could probably sense that. They smelt a bit of blood.
There's games you should win, and there's games that you're going to lose. And I think, unfortunately, the 2001 Grand Final was probably a game that we were going to lose.
There is thoughts in your head towards the end where you go, geez, will I ever get back here one day? And here we are 10 years later and I haven't been back.